North Korea frequently appears on night satellite maps as a vast void of darkness, sandwiched between the brilliance of China and South Korea. This image reflects a harsh reality, an economy strangled by international sanctions where energy and food shortages are constant challenges. However, behind that economic dark zone are the flashes of ballistic missiles and the heat from nuclear reactors operating at full capacity. The paradox begins with staggering financial figures. Building a nuclear warhead requires not only top-tier technical expertise, but also an enormous budgetary burden. It is estimated that mounting a single warhead onto a launcher costs the nation approximately $85 million. This figure jumps to $200 million if integrated into submarines and can reach $270 million for strategic bomb lines. These costs do not account for the maintenance, operation, and development of missile transport vehicles, which consume billions more each year. In a normal financial system, these expenses would be covered by revenue from resource exports or taxes. However, North Korea has been completely cut off from the SWIFT global banking network and is banned from exporting key commodities such as coal, iron ore, and seafood. In theory, the supply of hard currency, especially the USD, should have run dry long ago. The persistent existence of the nuclear arsenal, despite the siege of sanctions, reveals another truth. Pyongyang does not operate by conventional economic rules. Instead, they have built a parallel financial collection apparatus, turning isolation into a motivation to develop sophisticated money-making methods that lie beyond the control of international institutions. This contrast is the clearest evidence of an underground financial empire where all national resources are prioritized absolutely for military goals. To understand how money flows to Pyongyang, one must decode a shadow entity known as Office 39. Established in the 1970s by President Kim Il-sung, this organization was originally a small contingency fund. However, over decades, it has transformed into a national conglomerate, holding the economic lifeblood of the entire elite. The headquarters of Office 39 is located right in the country's ultimate power center, the Workers' Party building in Pyongyang. This is where thousands of financial experts, diplomats, and economic agents, selected from the most elite classes, work. These employees enjoy privileges that most citizens never dream of, from private transportation and high-quality food to their children attending the most prestigious schools. In return, they must operate a complex network to bring in billions of dollars in foreign currency annually. Office 39 operates on one core principle: invisibility. The organization does not exist on any international commercial directories. Instead, it manages a ghost network of hundreds of front companies and small banks scattered from Hong Kong and Macau to Southeast Asian and African nations. These companies frequently change their names, addresses, and representatives as soon as there is any sign of attention from international financial regulators. The authority of Office 39 is nearly absolute. It controls all industries that generate hard currency, such as the mining of gold, zinc, gemstones, and textiles. Even seemingly small-scale trade activities, like the export of pine mushrooms or seafood, must go through the coordination of this agency. All revenue from these activities is pooled into a massive slush fund, serving directly to procure nuclear technology and maintain the loyalty of the military. When the doors of legitimate trade were slammed shut by UN sanction resolutions, North Korea turned itself into ghosts on international shipping routes. Rather than surrendering to bans, they developed a highly sophisticated underground transaction system to smuggle resources out and bring foreign currency in. The most common form is ship-to-ship transfer. North Korean transport vessels frequently perform actions to evade satellite surveillance, turning off AIS positioning devices, repainting ship names, and flying the flags of other nations. In deserted international waters, thousands of tons of coal or iron ore are transferred directly to intermediary ships. Once the goods are unloaded, they are legalized with fake documents and labeled as originating from non-sanctioned countries to enter the consumer market. In the manufacturing sector, the borrowed name tactic is also thoroughly applied. At textile factories located near the border, thousands of North Korean workers toil under strict supervision. The garments are finished there, but when they leave the factory, they bear "Made in China" labels. In this way, North Korean products quietly inhabit the wardrobes of consumers worldwide, bringing in massive profits without leaving a trace on international ledgers. However, the most stable and direct source of income comes from human labor itself. North Korea operates a system that observers call modern-day slave exports. An estimated 150,000 workers are sent to construction sites in Russia, garment factories in China, or logging projects in Southeast Asia and Africa. These laborers work in harsh conditions, often for up to 20 hours a day under the management of security agents. Most of their income, up to 90% of their monthly salary, never reaches their families but is transferred directly into Office 39's funds as voluntary contributions to the state. This sector alone can bring Pyongyang between $1.5 billion and $2 billion per year. While traditional sanctions focus on blocking physical ships and goods, North Korea quickly realized that cyberspace is a borderless realm that is extremely difficult to control. Here, they have built a national-level hacker army with a single goal: stealing money. Unlike hackers in many countries who operate spontaneously, North Korea's cyber warriors, such as the notorious Lazarus group, are mathematical geniuses selected by the state since their school days. They are trained in isolated environments and then sent abroad under the guise of IT employees to conduct large-scale attack campaigns. Initially, their targets were traditional banks. The shocking 2016 attack on the Bangladesh Central Bank is a prime example, where the group nearly stole $1 billion and successfully laundered $81 million through the casino system in the Philippines. However, as the global banking system tightened security, North Korea shifted to a more lucrative target: cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is the perfect tool for Pyongyang due to its decentralized and anonymous nature. Hackers use sophisticated phishing techniques to infiltrate exchanges, steal private keys, and drain virtual assets. It is estimated that since 2017, billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other virtual currencies have flowed into the pockets of Office 39. To erase their tracks, they use crypto mixers to break up and rotate the cash flow through thousands of different wallets before converting it to cash. According to cybersecurity reports, revenue from high-tech crime currently funds about half of the country's missile development program. How do they transport tons of cash or tiny weapon components back home without being detected at the border? The answer lies in the diplomatic shield and strategic relationships. North Korean embassies worldwide perform not only diplomatic duties, but also serve as underground logistics centers. Office 39 personnel often use diplomatic titles to take advantage of immunity from baggage checks and diplomatic pouches. With these passports, they can carry suitcases full of cash or banned electronic chips through international airports without any customs officer being permitted to stop them. Furthermore, North Korea even utilizes embassy premises for illegal business. There have been cases where North Korean embassies in Europe rented out space for hotels or wedding centers to collect foreign currency directly in the heart of major cities. Additionally, support from major partners like Russia and China is a vital factor. Amid escalating global geopolitical conflicts, North Korea has become an important ammunition depot. Providing millions of artillery shells and missiles for international conflicts not only brings in cash, but also helps them exchange for space, aviation, and energy technologies, things that money sometimes cannot buy under sanctions. This covert support turns Western sanctions into massive loopholes, allowing North Korea's economic bloodline to flow steadily to feed its nuclear toy box. Looking at the entire network from Office 39 to the hacker armies, it is clear that North Korea does not operate a passive economy. Instead, they have built a guerrilla financial model, extremely flexible, decentralized, and always one step ahead of sanctions. When one account is frozen, 10 other front companies spring up. When one sea route is monitored, a new cyber attack method is deployed. This persistent survival poses a major challenge to the global financial system. Sanctions are based on the assumption that if a country's revenue is cut off, it will have to change its behavior. But for North Korea, isolation has become a catalyst for perfecting illegal skills. The shift from exporting raw resources to seizing digital assets is a strategic leap, turning lines of computer code into fuel for missile engines. As global powers no longer agree on enforcing sanctions, economic barriers are becoming loose. Arms for technology deals and the use of cryptocurrency as an intermediary payment tool are creating a new reality. North Korea is no longer trying to join the world financial system. They are building one of their own, a system that operates entirely in the shadows. The financial war against North Korea is not a chess game with a quick conclusion, but a decades-long chase of technology and intelligence. Every time the UN or the US introduces a new ban, the Office 39 system produces a new, more sophisticated variant to bypass the law. The success of North Korea in maintaining $1 billion military budget, despite almost total blockade, is a testament to the power of extreme adaptation. In the future, Pyongyang's money flow will become increasingly difficult to locate as it is encrypted into digital assets and dispersed across millions of network nodes globally. Closing the cycle from stealing cryptocurrency and exporting labor to underground arms trading, everything converges on a single purpose: ensuring the survival of the regime and constantly expanding the nuclear arsenal. As long as loopholes in cyberspace and geopolitical gray zones exist, Office 39's money printing machine will continue to roar, turning the world's sanction efforts into a game of cat and mouse where the hunted always knows how to shapeshift to survive.